everyone, welcome. So today we're going to talk about disability and what it's like to have a family member with a disability. Disability is a big subject, so there's no way I'm going to cover it all in one video, but it is something I want to start making videos about because I think it's really needed.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think I needed to be ready to do it because it's very personal. And it's part of our society that is not accepted.
Definitely.
And it's not even part of, when you think of diversity, you know, when I watch videos or read things on diversity, often race is mentioned, sex is mentioned, class, perhaps other things, but disability is really rarely mentioned.
I think it's very overlooked.
I think I could count on one hand the amount of times I've heard someone mention it, and whenever they do, I'm so happy. It's really nice, but it kind of catches me unaware. I kind of feel like, oh, I'm not used to that.
And I feel like as well, the thing with disability is it's like there's a social stigma that has to be challenged, but there's also literal things that have to change.
The injustice.
And but also the way that buildings should be made, the way that public transport should be made. And so it's I feel like people don't want to talk about it because it seems so impossible, but it's something that should be thought about more.
I think it's because it's a marginal part of society.
100%.
And it doesn't affect most of the people who are making the most money and who have the most power. So it's well, why would we think of that? It doesn't serve us. I mean, that's the truth of it. So, I'm so thankful and proud of my fellow disabled people who are activists. They advocate, they tirelessly push the agenda for equality, and I can't put into words how grateful I am to that, for them for doing that. So I want to start by saying one of my intentions is that part of having a disability, part of being me as well, but part of me is I'm a disabled woman, is without even realising it a lot of the time, we were talking about this before, I appear like I have it all together.
Oh yeah.
And it's a common thing, I'm told, oh, you're so strong, and I am strong, but I'm not always strong. And it's almost like a role I've adopted. Oh, I'm the strong one. I'm the one that's always okay. I'm the one that's there for everybody else. I'm the one that makes my disability comfortable for everyone else. And the thing is, if I don't open up about these things, then I can't possibly expect anyone to understand me. And when I do open up, I'm really pleasantly surprised a lot of the time. And I've got great friends and I've got great people around me. And I'd say, it's shifting for me. It's shifted for me, but it's still something I have to deal with every day. A big part of having a disability is you feel like a burden. You're told you're a burden from a young age. So it's not something you're just it's something that's really real, but it's also something that perhaps, for me, it's not as present in my reality. So it's about getting out of those thought cycles. So we're going to talk about living with a disability first. And I was talking to Lolo before, because it's just my experience, and I think when you live with a difference, whether it be you're Black, Asian, gay, disabled, and even things like people who have fiber. Oh my goodness, I have a friend with this condition, and I was thinking about it earlier, and the name just wasn't coming to me. Fibro.
I don't know. Not cystic fibrosis.
But cystic fibrosis, I mean, it's totally different condition.
I don't know I don't know.
It's just gone.
I was fibro,
But cystic fibrosis, asthma, a learning disability, autism, anything really where you live with a difference and you navigate the world a bit differently, and the world perhaps isn't very adapted to that, accepting of that. It plays a part in how you experience the world and what you kind of take into your experience, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just about seeing things from your own perspective.
Yeah, from your own perspective, but also being aware of the messages that have gone in that are subconscious. You know.
So like when society excludes you, it's like, are you saying that's like when there's something that you can't do or something?
It's a message.
It's a message. It's like saying like, oh, I'm not welcome here. Like this isn't. I don't belong here.
I don't belong here. Like perhaps it doesn't feel safe. And it's something that you get so used to. So like you'll be out and maybe you see a restaurant and you go to the restaurant and there's no access and you get so used to it. They're just like, oh, okay, And I think it's also important to, or you go into a shop and you're with a friend or whatever and the person at the till speaks to your friend instead of speaking to you. And you know, it can get really tiring to advocate for yourself all the time.
Totally.
And I'm a outspoken, feisty person, but I don't always want to be. And I think it's okay to be kind to yourself and say, okay, today I don't want to say anything. Today I just want to go shopping. I don't want to be the teacher. I don't want to be the advocate. I don't want to be the one that if they say there's no table in a restaurant, or they sit you in the corner, or they say, oh no, don't go there, you're a fire risk, you're in the way. Like, you don't always want to be the one that advocates for yourself and has to speak to the manager and
I think that is like, I feel like that is where like your friends and your family do step in.
They do.
Like
really
because it's like I have had experiences and it's like I'm getting way more angry than you are, but I think that like that is something that, as we were saying earlier, that it's like you notice it more when you're with someone and you know their needs, but you maybe don't have to every day experience how their needs are not met or like how there's like barriers. Like for instance, like when we were going to go out for dinner, like last week we were going to go out for, and I was like phoning places, like trying to find somewhere that had a restaurant and that was like disabled.
You didn't tell me about this.
Yeah, because it's just every time you try to find a restaurant. And then it's like, oh, is it wheelchair accessible? And they're like, yeah. But the toilet is downstairs, by the way. And you're like, well, you're not disabled, like, access to it.
Do you know, and often they're like, oh, the toilet's downstairs, is that okay? I'll just become able-bodied for 5 minutes.
I'll just fly down. I actually have these wings that clip on. And it's like, and I was just, it just makes me so, like, I actually just get really angry. Or like when it was Pride and we were trying to find a toilet and every single shop had like a step like this big, so it just meant like just along the whole street, so it's like it's just, you're just that far away from being able to go inside, and it's still just like, and you were just like, oh, it's okay, we'll just carry on. And I'm like, but that shouldn't be allowed, like why don't we just put a ramp?
Like, don't get me, I mean, most of the time I do feel quite chill about it, I mean, unless I'm really desperate. But I've learned to look for a toilet when I'm out before I'm desperate. Like, you learn to do these things. But you know, don't get me wrong, there are times when I don't feel calm inside. I want to tell someone about themselves. I'm like, this motherfucker. But it's not. I let myself feel that, and then I'm just like, well, it's not going to do anything. Like when we were on the bus. Do you want to tell the story on the bus? Do you remember? Oh yeah,
that was like, I think that's one of the most extreme examples that I've experienced with you. Like we were going on a bus. I think it was last summer, and as we got on, there was like an empty buggy in the wheelchair space. And so we asked the woman who was like holding her baby, we're like, oh, can you please move your buggy so that we can sit there?
And the baby was like 2, it wasn't a newborn.
And then she was like, no, because I'm going to put my baby there. And we were like, but your baby's not there right now, so like can we please get on this bus? And also you are technically, it's your priority, not the buggy's priority.
And it was an empty buggy.
Yeah, it was an empty buggy, yeah, exactly, especially. But then she decided, no, actually, that this is where I want to put my baby there, now that you want to use this space.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah, and then basically, like, long story short, the entire bus was, like, shouting at us, getting really aggressive towards us. One guy was like, I'm a bus driver, and if you were on my bus, I would kick you off the bus.
It's crazy. And, like, I think that there could be better legislation when it comes to not just mothers with their babies, it's sometimes fathers, but usually it's mothers, and for wheelchair users as well, because it's like a grey area and people don't really know what to do. But I think, when you're both coming to it with a reasonable attitude, it's fine. Like, I've gotten on buses before and my friend has held the lady's baby, there's always a way around it, but this woman had such a bad attitude.
I think that if we'd gone on and there had been a baby there in the first place, and the woman had said something politely to us, I think we very probably would have just waited for the next bus.
Absolutely, it's fine. It was like a nice day. It was like, I've done that so many times.
But I think it was just like the way, and it was just like I actually was right, like close to tears, because it was really like the whole bus.
It's really hostile.
Very hostile. That's the perfect word for it. And I felt scared. Like,
did you?
Well, I didn't feel scared, but it's like these people, like everyone's shouting at us, and it's like it's almost like it really did feel like, when you read in newspapers about people like getting like hate speech,
discrimination,
like it's that very verbal. I've never experienced anything like that before. Everything else with you is kind of passive aggressive, or like kind of what's that word, like not like obvious, sorry,
kind of insidious. It's below the surface. I get what you mean. And I mean, we were toward the back of the bus, and there weren't really that many people. I think there was like 3 people that joined in. And it was just like that. It was almost like the permission was given to be completely ignorant and discriminatory, and they fed off of each other's energy, and it's actually quite symbolic of what happens in our society.
That is true.
But that was just in our face. Normally it is under the surface,
it was really horrible. It was a really horrible thing that happened.
But I knew, like, I was annoyed, and I was upset, of course. I'm more upset after it, because in it I was like in battle mode, I guess, kind of, But I knew, I tried to speak to her, and she didn't want to be reasonable. She just didn't, and I just realised that quite quickly. And so, obviously I could see her getting angry, and I was like, there's just no point, because you can't talk to somebody if they don't want to talk back to you.
I just think that what it came down to was it was like really animalistic, and it was like, that's how it felt to me anyway, it was like everyone just kind of, there was 2 people, and everyone just completely went with her and was like, this is a woman with a baby, and you're just a disabled person, so you should get off the bus. Like, that's...
You don't matter as much.
Yeah, do you see what I mean? Like, it was... Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyway. You just have these experiences, and then you have to try and, like, improve them.
Yeah.
But I personally feel like I don't... Obviously, you obviously have, like, actually know, but from an outsider's perspective, I think that the majority of the problems are more like systematic, like in the way that society is built, and the way that the city is built, and all those sorts of things. I think that most of the time those act as more of a barrier than actual aggression from people. But I don't know if that you might find that different, but that's my perspective, like going out day to day with you. Like, for instance, like getting on the tube, like how you have to phone them and you have to use certain stops and all those sort of things.
I don't normally do that, though.
No, I know. You're the baby. But imagine if you didn't have enough money to get Ubers. Imagine if you had
no,
to
I mean,
get
I don't
public
normally
transport,
call ahead because, I mean,
Oh,
honestly,
I see
I
what you're
don't
saying.
think I should have to call ahead.
Yeah.
Like, I can go to the,
Oh, I see what you're saying,
you
yeah.
know, like, the person working there and say, okay, I need to get on this train, could you get the ramp?
Yeah.
I don't, like, nobody else has to do that.
Yeah.
Nobody else has to plan their day to that level.
Yeah.
And if I'm out in London, I don't know when I'm going to use the tube.
No, I know. But that's what they want you to do, isn't
That's
it?
what they want you to do. Yeah, that's what they want you to do. And there are like unfair expectations on people with disabilities, and
I think that's the key. Is like unfair expectations. Yeah, I feel like that is like a massive thing. Yeah,
and it's just like, oh, it's the way that it is. Yeah. Well, you should be happy that you can even go outside. So that's how.
I have heard this from like when I'm complaining to my friends or something. Well, you know, in other countries, disabled people don't even get to leave the house. Like, well, at least like you should be grateful for that, because in other countries, like literally thinking about like a third world country where like disabled people don't have any rights.
And it's like, of course, you know, when I'm feeling frustrated by things or something, I do really count my blessings. You know, gratitude is a huge thing, and I will think, okay, well, it's hard for me to hire a care assistant right now, but at least I have the option of hiring a care assistant and having the autonomy to choose, where some people don't. That's different though,
I agree.
Because what you're saying really, when someone says that, what they're really saying is, can you not complain because it makes me feel uncomfortable? On a deeper level. It's like, well, you've got, it's like
and it's like you don't spend your life like comparing yourself, being like, well, I'm just grateful that like I don't live in a slum, like, so why should you have to do that? Do you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying, is like you're supposed to have this like gratitude that other people don't have.
It's true.
Does that make sense?
Well,
to you?
It's not even gratitude, it's subservience.
What does that mean? Like,
you're meant to be grateful for whatever you get because you need to remember that you're lower than everyone else. Yeah,
that's really sad. Okay, I have something that I wanted to say as well on this topic. Is I wanted to like maybe like end it with something a bit more positive. That like I am actually really grateful that I have you in my life, obviously for multiple reasons, but just on the subject. Because I'm glad that I have the awareness, and that I feel like I am more like switched onto things, and I like, for instance, like I do go around places and I think I know what, like I do think about things like disabilities and how is this accessible, and also I think like my whole life I've been aware that just because someone is like the distinction between physical disability and mental disability, and I feel like I've never really, I mean, obviously I have been judgmental, but to the like lesser part, like I can see someone and I can see they might have a speech impediment, but that might not mean that they're like actually like mentally disabled. Or so I feel like that, like I'm really grateful to be more like aware because of you, because of having you in my life. So that's like a good thing, that you when you know someone, you just are more aware of things, which is like a blessing.
Should we talk about wheelchair packs?
Oh yeah, wheelchair packs. Oh, this is the good thing. Yeah, this really is the good thing.
You go first.
You never have to wait in a queue for a toilet ever.
You're gonna say that. I know you're gonna say for a lot of things.
Well, for anything, there's no queues. Yeah. You're just like, welcome back.
Yeah, you do like theme parks. You get to skip the queue. In shops, like you technically can, but I don't. I mean, I can queue up. I'm perfectly capable of queuing up, you know.
But if it's a really long queue, though, yeah, wheelchair parks are good. No, they're good.
Theatre.
Yeah, theatre.
Musicals.
And we love the theatre so much. Yeah, we miss it.
We do. So you get usually either half price tickets. Each ticket is half price or one goes free.
Yeah.
So,
we make the most of that.
We do. What else?
I think that often often like you do get people making a special effort for you.
It's true, yeah.
There are some like actually lots of people who,
most people are kind,
who make an effort. They see you and they like try to help you, like open doors and things like that.
Yeah,
like make a special effort to help you.
Yeah, and I think, when it comes to disability, I know some people with disabilities who they can be a bit defensive. So if somebody offers to help, I can do it myself. And I guess if that happens to you, I'd say always offer.
Yeah.
Because people can make their own choice. Yeah. And if somebody is a little bit defensive with you, maybe just bear in mind that there's a lot of history there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of history. There's a lot of times where they've been told they can't do something, they can't access things that everyone else can access, and and if you're having a bad day, you know, it might just be that they're having a bad day.
Yeah.
So that's good to acknowledge as well. But I do think it's about your perspective a lot of the time. So people stare, they do.
Yeah.
But to be honest, unless it's really blatant, I don't notice it because I don't choose to focus on it because I'm going about my own business and I'm doing my own thing. And I had a friend quite a while ago now, ex-friend, who, you know, she had struggles. She had reasons why she was the way she was, but it was like quite a toxic friendship. So I needed to not be in that friendship anymore. And we would go out together. She was a wheelchair user as well. And we would go out together and she would constantly say to me, oh, can you see that person staring at you? Can you see that? And it was like, no, I didn't. And it actually made me think about it more, which made me unhappy. And so I think it is to do with your perspective as well. And, you know, like, you get what you expect a lot of the time.
And sometimes you do, like, not intentionally stare, but sometimes if you see someone with a disability, like, it's not that you're, like, it's just like, oh, I've never seen someone like that before. Or it's like you don't, and you might, like, obviously I would never stare at someone, but like sometimes you might see someone just like you take more notice of them, if that makes sense. And it's not necessarily like you're not trying to be rude or you don't have any bad thoughts or anything like that, but you, I don't know, does that make sense?
It's true, yeah. If I see somebody...
There's levels of staring.
Yeah, if somebody's sort of staring at you in a hostile way, that's different. That's different, and then, of course, you know, do what you need to do in a civil way. Yeah. But, you know, there's often times when people are staring at me and then I'll smile and they'll be like, oh, I'm sorry for staring, but, you know, you're just so joyful and
or I really like your earrings or something
really or just like you seem to have a great attitude or something, and it's like, so you never really know
why someone is looking at you.
Yeah,
exactly.
And my mum says that you know, often she will look when she sees a fellow wheelchair user, because she'll be like, oh, how does their wheelchair work? Would that be good for that? And what about this and what about that? So that you never know the reason why someone is staring.
Yeah.
So, like,
it's best to just have as much as you can, like, a positive attitude about things. I think
just be open.
Benefit of the doubt and all that.
Yeah, exactly. Most people are really kind and lovely, and they may not always understand, but they'll seek to understand. So, like, an example of that is it doesn't happen so much anymore. That must be kind of a perspective change on probably because I haven't been out for well, I have been out, but, you know, we haven't been out as much, right, during lockdown, so that's probably the reason, actually. But when you're out, when I'm out, and other people with disabilities have this a lot as well, I'll have people say to me, oh, it's amazing that you're out in the supermarket, or it's amazing that you're out at the pub. So say I'm at the supermarket and I'm just literally doing my shopping. That's so inspiring. I'm literally buying some strawberries.
Just making an eaten mess. Like.
And, you know, it gets annoying.
That's so cringy, actually.
It gets really annoying. It does get annoying.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I try to respond in a way that isn't going to make them feel defensive, and like they'll never ask somebody with a disability anything again. So I'm just doing my shopping.
But then again, like, going back to this other thing, like, it's not always your job
to
like worry about making someone feel defensive.
Yeah.
You know?
No, and sometimes I will Just be like, I'm literally shopping just like you.
Yeah.
And just go. Like, you know, and that's okay. You don't always have to be the teacher.
No.
And that is often a role that you kind of are given and assigned to yourself as someone with a disability is always.
And making someone feel comfortable is not necessarily teaching them anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes people need to hear
be uncomfortable.
The difficult stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like a practice for you to say the uncomfortable stuff as well. Speak your truth. You know,
for everyone.
For everybody, that's true.
Yeah.
And like when you do have a disability, you know, say what you need to say. Be out front. Don't think you have to be in the corner.
I agree. Definitely. Yeah.
So we hope you enjoyed this. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, definitely. It was really nice. Yeah, I'm glad.
But yeah, take care everyone. Bye.
Bye.